Internet, Green Gaggleman here with another edition of Comedy Group 101. This week's episode, Horror Stories. I'm actually here backstage at Second City, in the bowels of the theaters, which is actually somewhat appropriate for today's topic, in that I've asked the stuntmen to describe their kind of most vivid horror moments from being on stage. So, join with me now. These times when things didn't go quite as planned, with stuntmen. Voila.
So my horror story on stage. I was performing at a small venue with my improv troupe at the time. And it was a BYOB establishment. Needless to say, I BYOB'd, had a few beers. And right before I went on stage, I had to relieve myself. I had my improv pants on. They're tan, khaki.
Oh, no.
And I got excited on my last shake. And it shook down my leg on my pants. And next thing I know, they called my troupe to the stage. Needless to say, the hand blower was not working in the bathroom.
Wait, did you say you peed yourself?
He indeed said he peed himself before
No, I actually did. It was the extra shake. So,
as a practical matter, there was pee on your pants.
There was pee on my pants
your pee.
when I went on stage. So I sort of tried to play it off as if it was extra water from washing my hands. I hope no one smelled the urine in the front seat.
Did you actually splash more water on your pants?
I didn't even think to do that. I was just...
Is that why you only wear dark pants now?
I tried to actually untuck one side of my shirt to pull over it, but it wasn't that far down. So. That actually happened.
That's a good one. That's a good one, sir. Thank you.
All right, my onstage horror story moment comes long ago. It was one of the plays I was doing in college. It was a musical version of Flowers for Algernon, and I was Dr. Niemer. I was one of the doctors who's making Charlie smart. Anyway, okay, so there's a scene where I'm supposed to be calling Charlie at home, and then he's not home, so I leave a message. So I come out on stage, and I go to get the phone, and there's no phone. Like the prop guy just didn't put the phone out. Okay, it's not that big a deal, but in the moment, I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? It's kind of pre-improv me as well, so improv was like this scary thing you're not supposed to do. So I figure I've got just like a couple options. One, I can use my hand and go, hi, which seems weird because there was no hand mime work in the rest of the show, so it would be kind of like obvious that I didn't have a phone. Or I could pick up the stapler, which also seemed weird, but it looked kind of vaguely phone shaped, so I'm like, well, maybe the stapler. I went with choice 3, which was my character had like a hand tape recorder that he would like leave his notes in, and so I created the world's first cell phone. I did a little, hey Charlie, call me back when you get a chance on this really cool tape recorder I've got that somehow makes calls. Yeah, this was back in like 1990. So anyway, that's my horror story, and the audience had no idea, and they didn't care, but I cared, and it was really panicky. So there you go.
It was a deep, dark night. I was looking right into the camera. We were doing a show, and I'm not going to name any names, because I don't know who's going to see this, but we're doing a show, and we were asked, generously donated the space beforehand, and it was a fundraiser. We were doing, if you don't want to share it, you don't have to share it, but it was a fundraiser, and we were asked by the generous human who gave us the space to make sure we filled the house, and we did not fill the house, just the opposite, in fact. Whatever the opposite of filling the house is what we did.
We emptied the house.
We emptied the house, and which obviously in and of itself is terrible, and it was, so we're ready to perform. There were a couple groups performing before us, and we were about to go on stage, and before it was our turn to go on stage, the person who had generously donated the space, I guess, found it appropriate to tell me right before we went on how disappointed he was that we didn't fill the house. So, needless to say, I was very flustered. In one of the scenes we had, it was very heavy dialogue for me, so like, just memorizing dialogue has never been my strong point, but we had done this scene before, and we had rehearsed it multiple times beforehand, and I felt really confident right up until the moment he told me how disappointed he was that we didn't fill the house, and we did the scene, and I completely blew lines throughout the whole thing, and it turned from like a 5-minute scene into like we started the scene and basically jumped right to the end because I forgot everything in the middle, and it was pretty horrifying. I don't know if the audience knew the scene was from a well-known movie, so it was pretty.
I actually had a guy afterward. He said, "Hey, I really like that sketch." So I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, it was one of those things where like you're probably fortunate because the audience didn't know what was going on, but in my head I was like, this whole thing the whole scene is blown. So yeah, it was. But thank you for the space, man.
All right.
So this was my senior year of high school, I believe, and I was in the musical Rags, and I went to an all-guys high school, and so we got to partner with one of the all-girls high schools in town to do these musicals at their stage. So,
what was the name of the all-girls high school?
Duchenne Academy of the Sacred Heart.
All right.
And so it was like our Sunday performance, and everyone had hung out the evening before at a cast party, and so no one got any sleep, and it was our last show, and I was a senior, and so we were all joshing around backstage as people will, but of course my final entrance, I was a few minutes away from it, and as guys will do in high school, they thought it was super funny to always trying to tap each other in the junk, and so someone had distracted me and said, "Hey, aren't you on right now?" And I was like, "Huh?" And then they went for it and got me good, and so I doubled over and almost missed my entrance, but I completely forgot that I was supposed to bring some this prop pen with me to give to the actress who was playing the young boy in the play, who I think was named David, and the character, not the actress. And
okay, good.
When I got out there, I said all my lines okay, but I reached in my pocket for the pen, and of course it wasn't there, and I was supposed to say "Here, David, here's this pen, so it will help you when you finally go to school." But instead I reached in my pocket and I was like, "Here, David, are some coins," really obviously putting my whole fist in their hand. I think I said, "Here's some coins so you can buy some money at school." It was I totally ad-libbed and flubbed it.
You could buy some money at
yes,
school?
Here's coins for money. So be professional backstage. That's all I'm saying.
So you're saying getting hit in the junk distracted you from getting the pen?
The prop.
Okay.
And I didn't.
I thought it was you were going to be doubled over on stage, oh, my junk.
No, but I might have been talking to Slide Octave Higher.
Okay.
Hey, David, here's some coins you can buy money on stage when you go to school.
That's pretty. I'm trying to hold the camera steady.
Coins for money.
That's pretty good. All right, well done, sir.
Exchange rate.
So those were horror stories from the Stuntmen. Hope you enjoyed them. If you liked them, please hit like, subscribe, share, do all those wonderful kinds of things. So without any further ado, this is Green Goggle Man saying, "Goggle powers, activate!"